We did learn, too, last night that the committee does value the SEC and the Big Ten over their other conference counterparts, no doubt. I mean,
who would have guessed such a thing?
But I mean,
as well they should.
Well they should. But there was questions like, will they? And you've got some people that disagree with the sentiment. But undefeated Miami behind a one-loss Georgia and Ohio State. You've got undefeated Indiana, even though they're in the Big Ten, behind Tennessee, Penn State, and Texas, all with one loss. You've got undefeated BYU behind those same teams. You've got Alabama, the first two-loss team on the board from the SEC, ahead of 8-1 SMU and obviously Boise State. You have 3 two-loss teams from the SEC ahead of 1 loss Iowa State, 1 loss Pittsburgh, and yeah, Missouri's in there.
They also tell us that they believe the Big Ten is very, very top-heavy. So the difference in the way the Big Ten is represented in this top 25 and the way the SEC is. In the SEC, you get Georgia at 3, Texas at 5, Tennessee at 7, Bama at 11, A&M at 14, LSU at 15, Ole Miss at 16. Then you skip down, you got Missouri at 24. So sprinkled throughout the top 25. In the case of the Big Ten, you've got Oregon at 1, Ohio State at 2, Penn State at 6, Indiana at 8, and that's it. Four Big Ten teams in the top 8, and then nobody after that ranked in the top 25. And so to me, that speaks to the way that they view the SEC in comparison to the Big Ten in terms of overall depth.
Yeah.
But I don't know that overall depth matters right now. It's top-end talent that matters.
Yeah, if you got 4 good ones. But it seems like the benefit of the doubt will be given. And, of course, that comes into the context of, local here. I mean, I'm sure you got asked, Richard, is like I did last night in between election memes being sent to each other was, well, what does the poll mean for Ole Miss? And I said, I still firmly believe just win the rest and you are in, and the rest will take care of itself. On top of the fact that football happens and teams are just going to lose in front of you, they displayed the benefit of the doubt being given to the SEC. So if you just take care of your business and you beat Georgia and you get your off week and you beat Florida and Mississippi State, you are making the playoff. I think that was the message that was sent last night.
I think I agree with you.
Of course, there's no way to know for sure. But
yeah, but I mean, nothing happens in a bubble, right? So LSU, Alabama happening this weekend. Everybody has said it's an elimination game. I agree with it. One of those two teams is going to have 3 losses. Mm-hmm. If it is Alabama and Ole Miss wins against Georgia, there's no question Ole Miss climbs in front of Alabama. One area that I think you've got concern if you're an Ole Miss fan is if Ole Miss were to win out and LSU were to win out and you both finish 10-2, would LSU get to the SEC championship game with only 1 loss? They would.
Yes.
They would have another data point.
Yeah. We tried to go through all that yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the point I'm making is if you've got LSU and Ole Miss there with the same record, then that's probably not a good thing for Ole Miss because in terms of head-to-head, obviously LSU won that game.
But then Texas and Texas A&M are going to eliminate each other.
Yeah.
One of them will give the other.
Well, but Texas only has 1 loss right now.
But
right. And Texas A&M only has 1 conference loss.
Yeah, but they've got 2 losses total.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. A&M would lose. If they get to lose Texas, they're out. They're not going to get in.
Right.
But if they beat Texas, I think they're going to the SEC championship game.
Assuming they don't lose again between now and then remaining schedule.
Which they
New Mexico
will not.
And Auburn?
They will not lose again. If they do, it's a massive upset.
Yeah, New Mexico State at Auburn, and then they host Texas.
Yeah.
Only 3 left for A&M at this point.
Yeah. There's a scenario where you have 6 or 7 10-2 or better teams on the final weekend of the season. You look at Missouri. Missouri could go 10-2, and they won't sniff the playoff. But I think I was telling Borky yesterday, before the season, I think you would have everybody would have said, hey, if you go 10-2 in the conference in the SEC, you're going to get into the playoff, because nobody thought we would have 5, 6, 7, 10-2 teams. But that's where we're headed.
Let's play this out for a second. If Texas A&M were to get to the SEC championship game and lose and have a 3rd loss, would Ole Miss jump them in terms of pecking order with only 2 losses?
I don't know, but I think that getting the guy said.
I know you feel that way.
The guy said that they would not necessarily I forget who it was, that they would not necessarily discount championship game losses, that they wouldn't hurt you as much as you think it would. So,
but if you've got one team with 2 losses and the other with 3, and they come from the same league,
it's a compelling argument. Yeah, there's no question.
College football is going to college football this thing.
Yeah, we always said when there were 2 teams, it always seemed to work itself out, and when there were 4 teams, it usually worked itself out.
That's right.
12 will probably end up working itself out, and whoever the 13th team is won't have much of a case. But there is this window right now where we're looking up on the last day, and it's like there's 19 teams playing for 12 spots.
Yeah. And from Ole Miss's perspective, they would add a win over Georgia. You have 4 weeks to move up 4 spots. And that includes a win over Georgia. You have 4 weeks to move up 4 spots, and that would include a win over Georgia. They're fine. It's far more likely, based on the message that was sent last night, that the SEC is getting 5 or 6 than just 4.
Isn't the best case